Hello again, St. Markians. I promise not to make a habit out of extending the Sunday morning experience any more than we have already, but these times demand a couple of comments. What I'm hoping for, and some of us are thinking about it, is one or two times a week, maybe Tuesdays, possibly Thursdays as well, in the morning, having something taped that is not by any means a repetition of what you're watching on the news already, but rather my views of the present situations, whatever they may happen to be, from a Christian and biblical perspective on current reality. And that's, I hope, different from what you're hearing on television. In this meantime, please indulge me as I report that as Christians and Americans, we all know we're at a defining moment. Peace and justice are terms hardly absent in both testaments. If one were to cut out those words, the Bible would become more like Swiss cheese. They're very important, peace and justice. It's frankly annoying to me that there are Christians who do not want to hear anything from the pulpit or the pastor in other forms regarding politics. I share the belief that partisan politics is verboten most of the time, but moral, spiritual, biblical commentary is essential, even mandatory for Christians. If that has political implications, so be it. As we look upon the current situation, I personally believe we can be thankful, not proud, but thankful. I tend to use that as an American. Because if we sift out the few who would be violent, the many have been peaceful. Protest can produce needed change, especially when political leaders themselves seem impotent. History teaches us that Christians must live in tension with whatever government they live under. Governments can never faithfully represent the Christian faith, and there are times when a government represents violations of Christian decency. We certainly saw that in the previous generation, not here, but over there. And I think we all know what that means. The USA is hardly immune to forces within and without that could easily bring us down. Empires tend not to fall due to being conquered from the outside, but due to imploding, that is, collapsing from the inside. As Christians, we can invite and even incite positive change, especially on the levels of peace and justice. We deplore violence even as we hate injustice. Seeking justice in this meantime, prior to God in Christ making all things new, is at the very center of who we are. That, especially now, we ignore at our own and our nation's peril. I know that you and I would like more positive, joyful, happy things to talk about. We will. And to some extent, we do, even in the midst of what's going on. But right now, what's going on should not be ignored. And I hope you and I can bear with what God might have to say with patience and with faith. Thanks for your time. Have a good week.